Julie?
A teenage driver in Oakland loses control of his car and crashes in Oakland's new Chinatown neighborhood. KTVU's Tara Moriarty is live out there with the details of the damage and also what we now know about the cause of that crash. Tara?
Well, take a look at the damage to this fabric store, and then you can see on the ground here there's even pieces of a busted pipe. And if we kind of go around the corner there, you can see where the electrical boxes are, and the electricity actually had to be shut off because of it. Now, the accident actually started across the street, and that is where you can actually see a gate lying there in the parking lot. Witnesses say that around midnight, a teenager was picking up his father from work, waiting to get out of the parking lot, and the gate wasn't really open all the way. But instead of hitting the brake, he hit the gas pedal and lurched forward all the way across the street into the shop. And neighbors who live upstairs heard the crash.
My son here, not me. My son yelled at, I said, Mama, Mama, my house is broken. You see the gate broken. Crazy. I scare me now. I scare me. Last night from now I cannot sleep.
You can't get any sleep.
I cannot sleep well.
Now we're here on the corner of 12th Avenue and East 12th Street, and the truck hit a water line, so crews had to turn off the water supply, and they were also forced to cut off power. Firefighters rolled the truck out of the storefront. Now it sits across the parking lot waiting to be towed. No word yet on when the power is going to be restored. Investigators tell us that there is no evidence that alcohol or drugs played a role in the accident, and luckily no one was hurt. Live in Oakland, I'm Tara Moriarty, KTVU Channel 2 News.
All right, Tara.
In fact, already this year, 103 people in Oakland have been killed. And tonight, religious leaders and community members hit the streets in one of the roughest parts of East Oakland, offering help and a plea to stop the rising violence. New at 10, KTVU's Eric Rasmussen live in Oakland with who they're trying to reach. Eric?
Frank, they want to talk to both potential victims and perpetrators of crime. Everybody who volunteered out here got one of these cards with the 3 reasons they're out there tonight. They say they care, they want the violence to stop, and they want to know how they can help. Friday night on International Boulevard, more than 20 people in white jackets walked both sides of the street, talking to everyone they met. It's a sight Pastor Marty Peters wants people in this part of Oakland to get used to.
We care about our community, and we want the violence to stop.
Led by local ministers and community activists, these weekly night walks make up one phase of Operation Ceasefire. It's a 2-year, $95,000 plan to try to get control of violence in Oakland, where they've already had more than 100 homicides this year, including the killing of business owner Wilbur Bartley this week. Tonight, leaders even asked us not to follow them for too long to avoid the perception they're out for publicity.
Folks who may look like perpetrators or victims, we love those folks nevertheless. And we want to demonstrate our love by just being out here and being with them.
The effort also includes bringing together members of the African American and Latino communities.
Trabajamos unidos nuestros corazones.
Pastor Marcos Bernabe told me they're all working for one cause.
We're not just asking you to put your guns down or stop selling drugs or stop using drugs, and we not have anything in place of that. We're here to help you try to find a job. We're here to help you try to find housing.
Now, organizers say they know Oakland tried a similar approach back in 2008, and it was not successful. However, the same strategy has worked to reduce violence in other cities. We're live in Oakland. Eric Rasmussen, KTVU Channel 2 News.
You know, we talk a lot about crime in Oakland, but Oakland is also the scene of a huge party on the first Friday of every month. It's a party that is drawing thousands and thousands of people from all over. KTVU's Jade Hernandez is in the uptown area of Oakland and tells us this party just keeps getting bigger every month. Jade?
Frank, that's right. First Friday officially begins in an hour, but the street near 19th and Telegraph is already shut down, and you can see a lot of activity going on. Vendors, business owners, and galleries are expecting a huge crowd tonight.
The dead, and so as you go along, there's a
Anika Barber proudly shows off her gallery, which recently celebrated a year in its new location. She says First Friday has afforded her the opportunity to make her business a combination of art and economic development for the city.
We took over a vacant storefront space and transformed it into the gallery, and we were able to enliven a space in an area that was sort of blighted right in the middle of Uptown.
First Fridays now draws nearly 20,000 people to an area where crime usually captures the headline.
In any urban city, you're always going to have urban problems. But it absolutely is changing.
And the Betty Ono Gallery is just one Oakland business to contribute. We spoke to the City of Oakland's marketing director by phone today. She stressed how the city only recently stepped in after Art Murmur organizers indicated the crowd had grown large enough to validate street closings along Telegraph. The Oakland Art Murmur movement began 6 years ago with only galleries. It now includes the First Friday event, street vendors, music, and entertainers. The city doesn't need to promote First Friday because it has evolved organically. Gallery and business owners can sometimes differ with city leaders, but today they find themselves on the same page.
And I think it's really helped to transform the idea about what's happening in Oakland, what's positive about Oakland, what makes Oakland vibrant, and it's definitely art, it's definitely artists, it's definitely culture.
We're told by the city they use 2 types of patrols to control crowds, private security and officers already assigned to the downtown and uptown area. Reporting live from Oakland, Jade Hernandez, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
Workers at the Port of Oakland protested today in part because of what KTVU News uncovered during a recent investigation on questionable expense reports. KTVU's Allie Rasmus is at the port now. Allie, what are these workers demanding?
Well, they're demanding a new labor contract and more transparency when it comes to spending at the Port of Oakland. Now, they wrapped up a rally here at the Oakland Airport, and these workers, there's more than 100 of them here. They do everything from clerical, custodial, maintenance, and repair work here at Oakland Airport and also at the Maritime Port. And they wrapped up a rally in March here about 45 minutes ago.
Employees are under protest. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. I thought you were going to step.
Workers march from one end of the airport to the other across both terminals. Union organizers say this rally was sparked by 2 things. The fact that more than 220 maritime and airport workers have been without a contract for 16 months now, and also the recent reports uncovered by KTVU about questionable expenditures by port officials with public